Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For a moment, I thought the Speaker's vision was something of convenience, because the Speaker did not look in that direction at all. But, Mr. Speaker, I felt it would have been remiss of me not to echo support for the motion here today to borrow this sum to improve the service that the firemen and women, although sometimes when we say firemen we use it in a generic sense, but the firemen and women give to the people of this country. I want to compliment them, Mr. Speaker, for their work during COVID. They were tasked with the responsibility of putting themselves at risk to save the lives of others. I want to compliment them for that. And I want to put on record, job well done. You see, Mr. Speaker, although I say I will address with brevity, I want to bring something to your attention. We have the Honorable Prime Minister, who hails from the East. We have your humble servant, who hails from the East. And as the Bible says, wise men came from the East, and so is the acting fire chief. Which East? So, Mr. Speaker, there seems to be a common thread among persons leading the charge in terms of bringing reprieve to our people. But I want to say this. You will understand what the last administration embarked upon. They embarked upon destruction and demolition. They never did anything that redound to the benefit of those services, putting them, giving them greater capacity and amplifying their ability to serve the people of this country. Every time I drive up Bridge Street, Mr. Speaker, and I look left, I cannot help but lament the demolition of custody suites. Custody suites totally destroyed, and today we have to find another $4 million or so to rebuild something we already had. And then they'll turn around and talk about crime. Under this government, Mr. Speaker, the police have received the most assistance with equipment and vehicles in the history of this country. And today, the Prime Minister and this government did not decide to stop there. Whilst the fire service begged for assistance, and in legal jargon they say a cry of distress is a summons for help. They cried for assistance, and the help eventually comes in that kind of support, in that loan, Mr. Speaker, that we are taking today to give them the capacity to execute and to deliver the kind of services that we want to the people of this country. Mr. Speaker, I stood up to make a special point, that of the psycho services. As I speak, Mr. Speaker, as representative for Castries Central, there was a young man who was a fireman, was called on Chaussee Road to assist on a murder scene. But they didn't know that anybody had died then, because we do know that once a person is dead, you call the undertakers. But the young man who was charged with the responsibility of assisting the injured, who was in fact deceased, was the brother of the deceased. Mr. Speaker, is no longer in the fire service. He went mentally off tangent. His situation begs for assistance, and I heeded the call. Not too long ago, a video of him walking throughout town as he was born went viral. It's no fault of his. The devastating mental impact, Mr. Speaker, of seeing his sibling on the ground, dead, and he's charged with the responsibility of picking up his sibling, sent him mentally deranged. And so, Mr. Speaker, he may not be alone. This is one case of which I am familiar, but how many more others there may be. And so I do believe the psychosocial support is extremely necessary. But one thing, Mr. Speaker, I would ask, and now that we have the heirs of those that matter within the rank and file of the fire service, if it is possible, Mr. Speaker, to have persons who do not live and don't have relatives in a given area work in an area, or rather respond to calamities of such a nature. Because, Mr. Speaker, I don't know if I can get back to my mental status prior having seen my sibling killed from gunshots. And so, Mr. Speaker, it is against this background that I welcome the news to assist the fire service in giving them the equipment they deserve. They have shown resilience, they have shown attitude to country, and they have shown that the interest of the ordinary citizen is of utmost importance to them. When it comes to the psychosocial support, I do implore them, Mr. Speaker, to do whatever is necessary so that an event of such a nature to which I alluded earlier should not be a recurrence on this 240 square mile rock. With those few words, Mr. Speaker, I take my leave. Thank you.